Alright, so we're going to do a quick oil change on the RAV4. To do this, we're going to be using these little ramps right here, which are collapsible and easy to hang up on the wall out of the way. And we're going to get this thing up in the air. Alright, so we got it up in the air on the ramps. And next thing we're going to do is go ahead and unscrew the cap here. You set it right here on your latch, so that way you can't close the hood without putting that back on, so there's no accidents. Alright, next we're going to be using this style of catch pan. In order to make sure it drains properly, we got to take this plug out and open this vent and make sure it's not already full, because it will overflow if it's already full. Okay, so now I'm going to get a quarter inch wrench. No, 3/8 inch wrench. Pretty sure. And then this little grabber that can be adjustable to many different size filters. And I don't know what size drain plug I have, so I'm going to grab 16, 17, 18, 19. That should be enough. Because it's a Japanese car, I'm assuming that they're going to be using metric size. Alright, I got everything staged under here. I got my catch pan, I got my sockets over there, I got my oil wrench, I got my ratcheting wrench, I got a rag, and then my creeper over there. So now I'm going to get up under here and start by removing the oil filter. Alright, so silly me, I forgot, because it's a Toyota, they have this special filter housing. And I have a specialty tool for that. You kind of need it for all Toyotas. It's a real pain in the ass if you don't have it, so congratulations if you're a Toyota owner. Alright, so just while I'm on the subject, there's lots of different ways to get an oil filter off. You got like a standard wrench over here. You got this kind of like, I don't even know what you would call that. This cup style, and then a specialty cup style. You can see it's for Toyotas there. This is the one we're going to need. Having been a lube technician for many, many years, you need different ones for different kinds of filters. There's a specific one that probably works best on your car. I'd say for most of the filters, this is going to be your best bet. This one kind of sucks most of the time. This one, obviously, you can't get away without it if you have a Toyota. So you need to put the socket on the back of it, and then you can apply a torque. So that's what we're going to do. All right, so we're back up under the car again. There's our filter. You can see that they have a little like 3/8 wrench that you could put in there and then take this plug out, and then it starts to drain. I don't see a lot of utility in doing that, and when I was a lube technician, I didn't have enough time to do that. So what we do is we just get the cup, and you'll notice that there's grooves in the cup. Those have to line up with the grooves up here on the filter. Can you see? There are 1, 2, 3 of them. I'm gonna have to line up these 3 with those. Okay, it's kind of on there. So let's torque this baby off. What do you say? Alright, so I lied. That thing's really on there. And so the first thing that I did was actually loosen up this plug to see if maybe it could relieve some of the pressure and make it a little bit easier on me. So I'm going to let this drain first. Not much going on. Does this car even have oil in it? Alright, it's still really, really tight on there. It's possible that the gasket wasn't lubricated properly, or that it's just been a really long time and it's stuck. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and put this wrench on and then hit it with a mallet. I'm going to start with a rubber mallet first on the end over here, and if that doesn't work, then I'm going to switch to a big mallet. Alright, that baby was really stuck on there. Tried it with the rubber mallet, didn't work. Tried it with the big mallet, didn't work. Then I thought, hey, why don't I just use my extension bar? So this is just a long piece of what looks like maybe galvanized steel, and it just slips right over the end like that, and then gives me a much longer arm to apply torque, and it came off super easily. So one of the best tools. Alright, we went ahead and got the filter off. Now we're just letting it drain into the drain pan. We're going to go ahead and replace that with a fresh gasket and a fresh filter inside the housing. We have our new filter gaskets. There's 2 gaskets in here. One goes around here, and then one goes this might be stuck on there, but in that, where this was, where that little drain plug was. So we're gonna have to replace both of those. Before we put them in there, we're gonna give it a little drop of some of the fresh motor oil that we're using to lubricate the gaskets, and then pop that baby back on. All right, so I went ahead and got the filter out of there, I popped off both of the O-rings, the big one and the small one. The big one's right here on this lip, the small one's right down here. And it was pretty easy when I just used a simple razor blade to kind of very carefully get up under it and lift it up out of its place. So now we can go ahead and lubricate those, throw them back on there. Alright, so we went ahead and we lubricated the O-rings. We stuck them back on there. It's easy to see because this one's red now. We replaced that one right there too. So make sure that you dip your finger in the oil, rub it around the O-ring, and then place it in. Same with this one. Make sure that get the entire O-ring saturated and then seat it back on there. Make sure you don't roll it. So that is to say, when you go to put this on, if you're holding it on this side and then you're trying to finish pulling it around the lip on this side, sometimes it can twist over and there's a torsion. There's a torsional force that's stuck still within the O-ring. And if that happens, it can have real issues sealing. So make sure that when you put it on there, you put it on in a way that it doesn't roll. Now we have our new filter in there. I went ahead and just tightened this. You don't want to over torque this. You're torquing it into a female plastic. You're torquing a metal male piece into a female threads, and it's really easy to strip those if you over torque it or crack this. So just don't overdo it. I don't know what the exact foot-pounds rating is, but it's not much. Don't overdo it. Now this baby's ready to go back up and be reinstalled. Alright, we're under here again, checking out the drain plug. It's kind of hard to see, but there it is. It's actually a size 14. I kind of remember that now from my, what do we call ourselves? Lube technician days? Yeah, from our lube technician days. So we're going to go ahead and put our 14 socket on there, torque it off. Make sure the catch pan's underneath because it's going to come shooting out at you. Be very careful. Have a rag nearby. Alright, so as you can see, that came off. If you need a mallet to hit your wrench, you can. You could also hold your wrench and hit it with the back of your hand, but now it's flowing. We're just going to keep an eye on it, make sure we're catching it carefully, and when it's all done, we'll cork it back up. Alright, it finished draining. We went ahead and stuck the drain plug back up in there, and we're going to do second checks, which is torquing this back down one more time, torquing our filter back down one more time, and since we have a filter drain, we're going to torque that down one more time, just to make sure everything is nice and tight. Now that we did the second checks, we can go ahead and add the motor oil. It's going to take 4.6 quarts of 020. And I have this nice long funnel. We're just going to go ahead and pour it slowly into there. Alright, we got the oil in, we got the cap back on. It's no longer blocking the latch. We're still going to leave the hood up anyways. So the cap's back on. We're going to run the engine for a few seconds, look under the vehicle, make sure nothing's dripping, do a visual inspection. And then if that's all good for about 30 seconds or so, we'll shut it off. We'll grab the dipstick and check the level. Alright, we got it running. Nothing's dripping or leaking, looking nice and clean. So we're going to go ahead and shut it off and check the level. Alright, we checked the level. Level's looking good. We can go ahead and back it off the ramps. Since I have some left over, since it was only 4.6 out of the 5 quarts, I'm going to go ahead and consolidate it into another jug that I had of some 020. And then go ahead and dump the waste oil into this jug, so that way I can cap it up and take it to an oil deposit place. Any place that does oil changes or sells oil has to take your dirty old oil from you. So I'm going to be dropping this off at probably Valvoline in a minute. As you know, this channel does not get nearly enough likes to be sponsored by anyone, so this is not an endorsement that is paid by any means. But this stuff, Goop waterless hand cleaner, works incredible. Especially when you need to transition from having oily, greasy hands and then go inside to reset the oil light in just a second like I'm going to show you, and you don't have time to go in the house. So Goop, hit me up. Alright, so I went to go ahead and start it, and because we were running the hazards for so long while we were working on it, the battery needs a little help. Luckily I got the Loki Thor JC400. I honestly use this probably 2 to 3 times a week. Definitely worth your money. So negative to negative, positive to positive, and we're going to put it in jump mode. Turn this baby on. 10.1 volts, that is not looking good. So this thing's going to count down, this thing's going to light up, and it's going to say go ahead and jump it. And then we're going to let this run for a while, let the alternator charge that battery back up. And just like that, it fired up. So I'm going to go show you how to reset the maintenance light. Alright, now that we've done our oil change, we need to get rid of that maintenance required light. I know there's a lot of things going on there, but at least the maintenance required light. In my experience, it helps to have it set to trip A, to zero out trip A. And then what you're going to do is turn off the car. You're going to hold the display button here, and you're going to cycle the key forward to the start, or sorry, the run, but not the ignition yet. So we're just going to go ahead and turn the key forward. I can't really do it while I'm holding this and holding the camera, so I'm going to do it off screen real quick. Alright, so I followed the steps like I said. I held down display, I turned the key forward without starting it. It starts flashing 5 lines and counts down. Each line starts disappearing, and then as you can see, that maintenance required light is gone, with a whole bunch of other things lit up on the dash because it's not running right now. So then we'll fire it back up, make sure it's all good to go. Alright, so we got it running now. After the oil change, we did the reset and no maintenance light. So there we go. Oh yeah, your oil, you need to get rid of that, but your rags that we use, the shop rags that we soaked with oil while we were cleaning, those can spontaneously combust. So really important not to leave oil-soaked rags hanging around. Dispose of them in a safe way. Yeah, if you like this video, like and subscribe, and I'll show you some more. Thanks.